Welcome to this video, which hopefully will help students in working through a new software package online that's free and should be safe called App Inventor. It is designed by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Computer Science folks, and for those who know, it's a reputable university. For those who don't know, it's one of the most reputable universities in the country, right up there with Harvard and the other big ones. And this is basically a package that lets you develop applications for your phone. If you don't have an Android phone, I have an iPhone personally, you can use a web browser and either a connected phone or something called an emulator, which makes it look like a phone. Just gives you a chance to use some mobile apps and to tie in this concept of Java classes with real-world applications. So I wanted to see if you would try this semester. In fact, the individual who recommended this to me at a workshop is Tony Gaddis, who is the writer of your Java textbook, who taught for a long time at Haywood Community College over in Waynesville near the Asheville area of North Carolina. To get started on this, you'll go into this website, appinventor.mit.edu, which I'll do right now. So here comes the internet. And for right now, I'll just close some of this stuff out where I was experimenting with it prior to the video recording. And I'll type this site in here, appinventor.mit.edu. And when you get to this screen, you'll have several options here. You want to go to the welcome screen, since for most of you this will be something new. So click on the welcome button. You'll come to a screen like this one, and it will give you various kinds of information about App Inventor, what it is, what you can do with it, some blog information, quite a bit there for good reading. And there are several tabs across the top, news and events, tutorials. You can read these on your own. I'm going to go to the one that's purple, and when I hover over it, it changes to a white color, and it's called Setup. And this will set up your system. Basically, 5 steps. You'll prepare your system in case the Java is not working with it. Hopefully it is, since you're taking the course. You'll then install the App Inventor software, step 2. Start the App Inventor to make sure it's launching properly. And we'll look at how the emulator is set up in either step 4A if you want to use your phone device, or the emulator itself on the desktop, 4B, which will be my preference. So I'll go with step 1 first, preparing your system to see if the Java is on there working properly. You'll come to a screen that asks you about it, and if you wanted to go ahead for some reason and do the Java installation, you could do that certainly if you wanted to do so. And I'll skip with that step because there's a test you can do with it. If you'll scroll down the screen, you'll see an orange button, and again, you got to read the directions, but I'm just trying to help you with this from a video perspective and not make it really lengthy and boring for you. But if you click on this orange launch button, it will give you a chance to test Java. What will happen is it will run a file, a notepad file, that will create a window that will let you enter text in it. And if you are able to pass this test successfully, which I'm going to try right now, and it gives me, I'll get this window constantly. If you don't want it to show the window every time, you can click that little checkbox and bypass it. Here's my notepad. Now, this is not your traditional notepad software that you see in your Windows programs, but it looks like it's very similar look to it. So I can go in and I can type in, my name is Michael Sisk, and it looks like everything's working okay. So I passed the test. My Java is working just properly on there. If yours is not, you just install Java. It's very safe. And it gives you reasons that it may not do well. So I've been successful. Next step, step 2, we'll install the App Inventor software. Click on it, and it has instructions whether you're using the Mac computer, whether you're using Linux, or whether you're using Windows. So you'll go ahead and click on the instructions. I'll use this particular computer because it happens to have Windows on it, so I'll choose that option. And it will give you the instructions for Windows. Had you clicked one of the others, it would give you the Mac, Apple installation, and the Linux if you wanted it. Step 1 says to download the installer. Mine will probably give me an overwrite, and you have the option of either saving this file and running it independently, or you can just click run directly to run the software. And shouldn't take a tremendous amount of time to download. Mine maybe took 30 to 45 seconds tops, and it does take a little while for it to be run, but it's not a great amount of time. You don't have to go wash dishes or take a bathroom break or something. It typically should do well, but of course I can't predict your personal computer as far as its processor, its age, the competition, maybe you have a network in your house or whatever. But mine typically does not take a long time. I'm downloading mine while I'm recording this video here at the college. and I'm right at the point where the App Inventor software is about ready to install, and I've got Windows 7 and 8 basically fighting each other on this particular computer that the school has provided for me. Good computer, but they fight each other nonetheless. You'll go through the setup routine, go ahead and agree to the contract, and you may or may not want to note, very importantly, the place or the path where your App Inventor is located. So you may want to jot that down somewhere very accurately. Yours, of course, may be different from mine. And just once you've got that, if you want to put it in a different place, I'm sure you can install it in a different folder. If you'd rather simplify the process, you can browse and put the path differently if you want to. I'll go ahead and click Next and accept it. And I'll use the App Inventor Setup name for the Start menu. Again, all this is optional for you. When I click Install, probably what has happened right here in my case is that it's already installed, so I'm not going to have this issue. So mine should be okay, but yours shouldn't. Again, the reason for mine is I've already installed it prior to doing this video. And once you've done this, you'll start App Inventor. And in order to start the App Inventor software, you need to have an internet account, which, my gosh, I hope you have with an online class situation. And you want to have a Gmail account. And if you just have this aversion to Gmail, try to patronize me for now, and there shouldn't be any harm for your computer. Some of my students this semester, unfortunately, have had some attitude issues, and I don't mean that as a slam, but they just don't want to always do what's required in a course. But this shouldn't be a harmful issue, and you certainly can get rid of the Gmail once you finish the course or these assignments. So try to comply with it. I don't think you'll have any problems. And I can go to the website. This one says beta.appinventor.mit.edu, and again, this is because it's constantly being updated and monitored. And once you get here, you'll end up with a screen. Now mine switched over because I've already worked with the first project in App Inventor called Hello Per, kind of like the Hello World program that a lot of software programming language classes do for you. But if you go over, you'll probably see something that says the word New over on the far left. So you'll click on New, and you'll put in the project name right here. I'm going to put, it says Hello Per, but because I've got one on here already called Hello Per, I'm going to make a different one. So when I say Purry, if you are a very exact words, literal, follow what Mike does precisely person, understand I'm doing this because I already have a Hello Per from a previous encounter with App Inventor. So I'm going to call mine Purry for that reason. Click OK, and I'll end up with a project that will be set up on my screen. And once I have this layout set up right here, and your App Inventor information will actually start talking about the new project and how the interface looks. This is called the designer, and it's got different interfaces where you got a palette that has all kinds of goodies that you can have on there, an actual part where the language is being generated, and we're going to go into something called the blocks editor to put the project together. So I'll go back to that screen where I had it. Open the blocks editor is over on the upper right. When you click open the blocks editor, you should, and I've got a confirmation at the bottom, again this is tied into the Java language, and you should get a, here it comes, and if you don't want this screen to come up a lot, you can click the little check box not to show it constantly, and you should get a blocks editor to pop up on your screen, I hope. See if this is showing up for me. Maybe a little bit of a delay. And there we go. Again, you have to be patient with it. And there's my block editor right there for my project called Hello Purry. What will be recommended for you when you are dealing with App Inventor? They will recommend that you work through 2 projects. I'm going to click this setup just to let you, I'll see under tutorials. They'll recommend that you complete several tutorials. We probably will not have time to do all of these in this course because the semester is coming to an end, but they'll recommend Hello Per, Magic 8 Ball, Paint Pot, and Mole Mash. There's some pretty good tutorials out there. You're basically making some apps for your phone, which you can again simulate or emulate as they call it here. You can actually put these on your phone, and there's some pretty good stuff out there, and I think it'll be a fun way, a different way to get your projects rolling. So if you've gotten this far to where you can look at your editor, and I gotta find out where in the world my editor ended up. Let me go back to this again. and because I've been bouncing screens trying to get this tutorial video out there for you, I'll go to Hello Prairie right here. Blocks Editor is open. Well, I'll open it again just to let you see it. And once you have this block editor open, what will happen now for your next step is you want to start getting the emulator out there. Again, let me stall and hope that because I'm doing this multiple times with a video in mind, hopefully this is not going to be a problem. It might take quite a few seconds for it to come up. It shouldn't take 5 or 10 minutes, as was the case with my last year's emulator. There we go. What's going to happen at this point, once you get this screen right here where you actually start doing your projects, you will click on the button that says New Emulator. Again, could be a little bit of a delay right here. Yeah, starting the emulator. Please be patient, and you do have to be patient. Again, not forever, but what hopefully will happen in the next 2 or 3 minutes, maybe literally, you will see what will look like a picture of a phone. And again, you got to be patient with it. The reason I'm talking so much right now is so that you will not think that there is a malfunction with the video or with the YouTube program itself. And most of you, if not all of you, are probably watching this from a YouTube site. And what will happen first is you'll see a picture of the phone as you should see with an Android phone. It'll have the time at the top, and you'll have that little lock possibly down on the lower left side, and then it will eventually change to a different background screen. And when the emulator is ready, you'll get a connect to device button punch that you click that you will do. And again, hopefully this will not take a large amount of time for you. I'm going to close the OK window in hopes that this one will come up pretty quickly. Now, the one in my office came up fairly rapidly. I didn't have any major problems. I'm going to minimize this. Yeah, there it is right there. It was hiding behind it, and that was what I was afraid might happen. So I didn't want you to be watching this going, oh my gosh, what happened? Yours could very possibly have gone behind yours as well. Let's see what I can pull up on the screen here. There's the phone. I want to get this in the front if I can do that. Yeah. All right. Now what you may have to do is actually take this green lock and just drag it over to the right, and there you are. Alright, now your emulator is ready, so it looks like the phone, of course, and then the last thing you'll do is hit connect to device. That's a button up here in the upper right hand corner, and I'm going to click emulator 5554. And again, if your screens just get behind each other, that's all that it is. Just try to work through this the best you know how, and you should be okay with it. And that's all I wanted to do in this video, is just make sure that you're getting it set up. And if you need me to, and I probably will anyway, I'll actually go through the very first Hello Prairie project that I'll ask you to do. Primarily right now, I just wanted you to be able to get your App Inventor software set up and go from there. And if you have any questions, please contact me.